Welcome to Viben Now, a collection of guided meditations put into podcast form for your easy listening. My name is Vivian Gerard, and I will be walking with you through the intoxicating now moments of life here on this planet. These audios are intended to be used as a full meditation if you want to close your eyes, settle down into a comfy spot, and let your subconscious come all the way forward. Or it can simply be some background conversation where the nuggets of information that you most need will make their way into your awareness. Whichever way it works for you, I invite you to open up and enjoy fully this journey of life that we are all taking together. So much love to you.
So welcome to our time together. Let us dive right in. Whew, there's a lot coming up today. Go ahead and settle yourself into your chair, your bed, the floor, wherever it is that you have chosen to sit yourself down for this next hour. And start to pay attention to your body. So as you are sitting or laying down, just notice how your body feels in this first moment of arriving and landing. So it may be relaxed if you've had a good night's rest, you've had an easy morning, you may be a little tense already if you've been rushing around or trying to get here on time. You may feel heavy, if there's a lot on your mind or your heart. So just tune in for a moment and see what is your body feeling? How is it talking to you this morning? If your jawbone is tight or your head is pounding, there's probably a lot of energy that's up at the top of your body. So what we're going to do pretty quickly is move that energy down to your feet and create some space so that your head doesn't feel as congested or tight. But the first step is always awareness. So begin by paying attention to how your body is feeling. And the more that you do this, the more that you tune in all the time, right? During the day, when you're in meditation time, as you're going to sleep, when you wake up in the morning, the more that you tune into your body, the easier it's going to be for you to move the energy and not have it get stuck in your body. And the more that you'll see the patterns. And once you bring awareness to patterns, you can change them so quickly. But it's the not seeing the pattern that keeps you stuck in it, or the not seeing the places where you're not moving energy that keep you blocked. So start to develop a really heightened connection with your body where you can just feel in an instant, like there's a pain in my heart, or my stomach is really twisty-turny, or my feet are really aching, right? And you'll be able to sense what's happening and then start to create more movement for yourself. Quick example, because this is just on my mind. A friend of my daughter's was over yesterday, and she had this huge scrape. Half of her leg was just raw from where she had fallen down while she was hiking. And my daughter, who is extremely aware and intuitive and wise beyond her years, said to my friend, well, what was happening right before you fell down? Right? And they started to work backwards, and her friend had been rushing around and didn't make it to an event on time that was really important to her, and was trying to please everybody else and didn't speak her truth. And so she created this huge fall on a hike, and literally I had to bandage her leg up later. It was so messy. And we were talking about scrapes and cuts and bruises, and the left side of the body, which was intuition, and her leg, which is about moving forward in life. And so much of it was about her punishing herself, right? So her body was talking to her and saying, you're not paying attention. You're not being fully present. You're not allowing yourself to be here in this moment. And so we're going to create something that forces you to slow down, that forces you to look at your intuition, this left side of your body, to pay attention to it. Right? And what she got was all this love, from her friend and her friend's mom, just going, it's great, you're fine, we love you, we'll take care of you. And so she could start to heal energetically, which then allows the body to catch up. So Pay attention to your body. So here we are in this moment. See if you can feel how much of you is fully present here. So imagine you can just see a number. Maybe it's 20% of you, or 50%, or maybe you're 70% present. All right, if you just woke up, odds are it's easier to be more present because you haven't been distracted yet by life, by your day. So if you can see a percentage or feel in your body, maybe your energy is here, like from your feet up to your belly, or maybe the core of you feels really solid, but your head's a little wobbly and your feet feel empty. Just play with your body in a different way right now. Play with just feeling it and going, okay, if I were just to have a wild guess at how present I am, and I could give it some sort of number or feeling or sense physically, how much am I here? Meaning my attention is fully in this moment. Yeah, and don't judge it, just notice. Good. So what if we allowed more of you to be here? What if you said, I'm willing to go another 20% higher just to see what it would feel like? Right? So if you're at 30 or 40%, maybe you're going all the way to 50% of you being here. So imagine you can just turn on a magnet in the middle of your body that starts to send out this signal to everywhere you've been over the last, let's say, month. All the people, that's a lot, right? All the people you've interacted with in the last month. Imagine you could start to pull your energy back out of those people, out of those events, out of those projects and jobs and tasks and things. There you go. Yeah, so you're not abandoning anybody. You're just pulling your energy back into you, which is actually where it belongs, right? So all those other people, places, and things must be okay without you because they're designed to not need you to be in their space. We just like to go and track and check and make sure everyone is good because we love them. Right? So what if you pull more of you back in? Maybe if you're at 50%, you're willing to go to 70%. Right? So it might feel a little queasy in your belly, right? If you're not used to so much energy coming back into your body, it might feel a little shaky or like you want to burp or throw up or like that sort of queasy. It's just your solar plexus, your third chakra, receiving your energy back into you. And as that solar plexus fills up, right, that I am in this life center fills up, sometimes that just feels new to us, and it's the same queasy feeling you might get when you're doing something like riding a roller coaster for the first time, and you don't know what it's going to be like. Right? Your belly gets that, I don't know, maybe we're making a mistake, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. You just have to get over the hump of the first queasiness. Just like on a roller coaster, you get over that first hill, right? And then you're just on the ride. And you can't get off. Then you're just on. You're stuck. You always have choice here. But if you get over that little hump of queasiness, there you go. Good job. Yeah, now you can just start to fill up, right? So use your breath to settle your body. Good job. Good job. Imagine you can now turn it up so you're at 90%. Your energy being called back like a signal into your physical body. Good work. And it's going to feel maybe a little like tight, right? Like, oh God, there is not enough space in this physical body for all of me to be present. There is. You were designed to be in this body and hold all of your energy, all of your soul in this physical body. So in this safe cocoon, right, this safe cocoon of soul shine, go ahead and just allow yourself to feel what it would be like. What if you had 100% of your energy in this lifetime here in your body, just to give you a sense of what's possible? Loosen your jawbone, relax your shoulders, feel your feet connecting you to the earth. Right? So if you're sitting on a chair, really dig your toes into the carpet. If you're laying down, you can just really feel your heels like anchoring into the earth or to the bed or to the floor or wherever you are. If you're sitting cross-legged, your ankle bones, your hips, well, let's not do your hips, your ankle bones, right? The sides of your feet can hook you into the earth. Good. Yeah, just feel your body for a moment. This is you, more present than you have been probably in a few days, perhaps longer. So use your breath, settle down any wiggly parts or fears that are like, no, don't do that. Don't be present. You might have to look at something. You might have to change. You might have to pay attention. Yeah, that's why you showed up here. That's why you showed up. So we're bringing your full presence to this moment and just settling your body and letting it know it's safe. It's just a space for you to see what's happening for you. Good. Let's use your breath. I want you to do some slow exhales out through your mouth. And as you do that, what you'll find is your system settles, your body settles, your breath settles, your energy drops all the way in down to your feet. All right, so I'll do one with you. So you do an inhale, and then long, slow exhale. Good, good. Good. All right, let's ground. So from however your feet are connected to the earth, to the floor, to your house, wherever you're sitting today, I want you to imagine that the bottoms of your feet or your heels or your ankles can slide open, almost like a superhero movie, right? And then you can grow roots. So from the bottoms of your feet, you're going to imagine, you're going to visualize, picture roots starting to grow and go down into the earth. So if you're in a building, you may have to go through some layers of concrete and carpeting and structure to get down to the dirt underneath the building. But it's just like in nature, right? The roots want the dirt. They want the soil. So if you can visualize that happening, what happens energetically is the energy follows what you're picturing, because your mind is showing it the pathway, and then the energy goes, oh, I go here, and so you start to go down. It's funny because this is how you control the mind, right? You put pictures in it of what you want the energy to do, and suddenly everything's working in harmony instead of an internal battle, right? Go do this, don't do that, stop this, stop that. Instead, you just put pictures in there of what you want to create. And then the energy goes, oh, a picture. I can do that. I can grow roots. I'll follow. And so the roots start to get formed vibrationally, right? So picture, feel how the roots can go, let's say, 500 feet into the earth underneath your home. 500 feet, that's a lot, right? I'm 5 feet tall. That'd be 100 of me stacked up going down into the earth. So that's a long way down for the roots. So visualize that all the way down. And then visualize another 500 feet after that. And this 500 feet, those roots can start to multiply, and then they go diagonally and down and sideways, and suddenly you have this web or network of roots underneath your physical body that you're energetically, vibrationally connecting to, that goes down and out and down and out. And what you'll feel, and it may not be this first time or second or third time you do it, but what you'll start to feel as you trust that your body and your energy and your mind are working together, you'll feel a tug in your third solar plexus, in your root chakra, in your hips, in your lower part of your body. It'll feel like it's getting tugged down into the earth. That's when the body and the vibration and the energy really match up. They synchronize, right? Is when your physical body says, yeah, I feel that. Like for me, because I do this so often, I do this every day, my shoulders literally start to hunch, and I feel like there's weights on my shoulders because the roots are grounding me so far down into the earth. And so you can just match that vibration. You can just allow that connection to the earth to be that instantaneous and that deep. Okay? So just allow that to happen while I share for a moment. Why would you want to do that? What's the point, right, of rooting into the earth? And the point is we're humans, we're souls in these human bodies that partner with the earth. The earth gives us oxygen so we can breathe, gives us water so that we can survive, so that we can drink and have fluids in our bodies. So much of our body is made up of water. Right? The earth provides the nutrients, the food, so that we have the energy to power our bodies. There is this deep partnership that happens physically between the earth and the human body. And when our energy can align with the energy of the earth, you up-level that partnership. You skyrocket that partnership. Right? You create this really strong base so that your soul can just sing and dance and play because it's so physically and energetically supported. All right, so as you visualize those roots, you can imagine that anything in your body that physically, energetically doesn't feel good, anywhere energy got stuck, right? Emotions are trapped, or something feels heavy or dense or overwhelmingly sad or hard. Imagine your feet can become like the conduit, the transporter, so you can hand that over to the earth. Why would you want to? Because the earth is willing to recycle it. I mean, you can hang on to it if you want, but you don't have to. So you could try hand it over, see how it feels. If it feels great, good job. If it feels bad, pull it back. You can have it back again. Right? So just try. See if there's one place in your body that is especially talking to you right now. That's saying like, ugh, yuck. I don't feel good. I'm hurting. I'm aching. Imagine you can just, with your breath, so right, do a big breath, and imagine you can just send breath to that part of your body that feels stuck or heavy. And you're just going to breathe the stuck out of it. So you're not breathing your heart to your feet, or you're not breathing your stomach organs to your feet. You're breathing stuck energy out of those organs, out of those bones or sore places, down to your feet. And then with one more breath, you can just visualize and physically push, right, that energy into the roots, and then just allow energy to move down 1,000 feet into the earth. And notice or sense as it does that, the energy dissolves. What feels stuck and dense and heavy in your physical body, when it's energetically handed to the earth, it dissipates, it dissolves, because the earth is so much bigger than this one human body. And so that big thing in our little physical bodies can become a tiny, it's not even a drop, a tiny atom, nucleus, I don't even know what the word would be, the tiniest of tiny particles. It's a particle in the earth. Right? So just notice, is there anywhere else in your body in this moment that you just want to send energy down to your feet and into the earth? Good. And then visualize in your body for a moment a pathway for energy to flow. So as things come up, in this call and during this next week and in your life, as stuck places come to your awareness, you have this visual in your body, right? So for me, it looks like a straight line that goes from the center of my forehead, from my crown chakra, straight down through my head, through my neck, going through all those chakras in my upper body, straight down through my body to right above my hips, and then it goes out sideways. It's like a stick figure, right? It goes out sideways, and then it's 2 straight lines down my legs all the way to my feet. And so anytime something comes up in me that feels heavy or dense, or I feel a stuck spot, I just visualize it's like magnetized to that line, and then it goes straight down, and then from the bottoms of my feet, I'm constantly sending energy out all day long. Something feels heavy, I send it to my feet and into the earth. And what happens is you just become this flowing space of energy, and it can just move through you, right? Yeah, so just imagine you can keep your feet open with those roots the whole way through our call. And as things come up, right, it just goes to the line, it goes down to your feet, and you move it out. Maybe you'll cry, maybe you'll laugh, maybe you'll burp, maybe you'll yawn, and it'll just be energy that moves and goes down and out. Good. All right, so that brings us to Source. Source, God, Creator, universal energy. My son and I had a huge debate over what the right word is to call that life force energy that creates everything. Everything, all of us, the planets, the sun, the stars, all of it. We had a big debate. Neither of us won, but we agreed to disagree, which is perfect. I'm sticking to the word source. I happen to love that. It feels like the original source of all, of life, of love, of everything. But you may use whatever word feels better to you. So if we're flowing energy through us from the crown all the way to the feet, and the earth is at the bottom receiving and transmuting and recycling stuck energy, then what's above, right? That's always my inquiry, my question, my discovery, exploration. It's like, well, then what's above? What's coming in from the crown if I know what's going out through the feet, right? And to me, that's the mystery of source, of life, of love. It's you never know. You never know what information is available that can come through your crown, what emotions and energies can be shared from source into you. And so for many people, I believe that they see God as, this is such a generalization. They see God as some big thing that sits up in the heavens that is far away, way up in the sky. And maybe there's a way they can, pray or communicate or somehow channel from this energy that's way up there. But it feels disconnected a lot when I work with clients. Like there's such a distance. So you have to try really hard or spend a lot of time, praying and believing and hoping that God is connecting with you. And for me, I'll just share my belief and then you can feel into your own. For me, it feels like source or love or one energy is literally right above my head and to the side of my head and to my back and to my front and in front of me down by my feet and behind me, behind my back. It's like this force field almost or vibration that is constantly communicating, right? It's not removed. It's not far away. It's a vibrational energy of love and support. And so when I picture this line in my body from my crown to my feet, I imagine that there's a filter at the top of my head, at my crown chakra, so maybe an inch or two above my head. There's a filter that allows me to screen or participate with what I receive from Source. So I'm not just waiting here for whatever energy ever wants to enter my space from anyone, anything, anywhere. I have it's like a way to allow, to co-create. That's the right word. It's a way to co-create with my experience in this life, in all lives, right? It's a way to say, I choose to feel supported by Source or God, and I allow a lot of it to come in right now because I'm sitting in meditation and I'm open to receiving, right? And then sometimes I'm hanging out with my children or my husband, and I don't want to actually be in the middle of a big awareness about life or how things work. And so my filter is perhaps closed to that sort of information, but it's just open to love. And so in that moment with my family, my connection to Source just feels like lots of love, right? And then perhaps I'm in a coaching session and I feel I'd love to support that person in seeing something that they really are ready to shift. And so my filter can change to allow in universal information or energy or connection. And so that filter is my way of co-creating with my life. So perhaps play with that, right? That's my very personal share of how I live my life. So maybe feel it for yourself. If you were to, in this moment, go ahead and feel your grounding again for a minute. Feel your feet connecting you here to this earth. Allow anything that came up in you as I was talking, right? She said Source, not God, or she closes a filter and opens a filter, or whatever might come up. Just let it move down to your feet and go out. That's my stuff. That's not yours. You don't have to hold on to it. Good. And then come back to the top of your crown and sense for you, for yourself, right? What would feel amazing if you were to see or sense your connection to Source, to God, to universal love in a different way? Perhaps it's just that it feels closer than it has before. It's not so high up. It's actually just right above you or behind you. And perhaps there's more of a visual or a form for that energy now. Maybe you see it as light, or you see it as shimmery gold, like stardust. Maybe you just sense more love in that communication than you have before. Yeah, we're just going to take a moment, and I'm going to be quiet and just let you feel it for yourself for a minute. So go ahead and just tune in. What is there for me to know about my connection to my God? And what if you were to open that connection just a little bit more in this moment? So if you also have a filter, what if the filter becomes a little more permeable so that you can feel or sense even more from your God? What would that feel like in your physical body as it moves down and through your chakras, your head, your shoulders. Go ahead and feel that for a moment. And what if you were to allow that energy or flow to go from your crown through your body, like through your head and your shoulders, down through your body, following that same pathway that we visualized all the way to your hips. And then God or source energy inside of you dividing at your hips and running down through your legs, all the way to your feet. And then just moving out into the roots, down into the earth. Yeah. And you just become the vessel, the conduit, the flow of love, right? From God to earth, from source to our planet that we live on. It's remarkable, isn't it? I used that word with my friend yesterday. It's like that experience was remarkable. And I feel that in this moment. Good. Oh, okay. Take a breath. So fun, but also that's quite a shift from where we started a half hour ago. So yeah, let your energy, your body, your spirit just realign for a moment, catch up, arrive. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is Independence Day. If you're not from the U.S., you're going to get a quick history lesson, and also it applies to everyone. This is a universal story. It's not specific to one country. It's every country that has gone through this. All humans have gone through this. So of course it all happens around the 4th of July and Independence Day and rebellion and revolution. Like everything is aligned, right, and flowing in such perfect synchronicity. So my son is a warrior, a fighter, and he loves, these battle movies. And so sometimes I give in and I go. I'm not one on watching a lot of violence. It just feels ugh. But I agreed that we would go see Independence Day yesterday, and so we all went as a family, and we're watching this movie. And spoiler alert, if you're actually going to watch it, you may hear something here that will disappoint you because it won't be a surprise. But here's what I loved. We go to this movie and we exchange, right? We paid $10 a person. We show up, we hand them the money, and we go in and we sit down and we have our popcorn and our candies and our waters, and we're like all excited to be entertained. And we trust from the moment we walk in that this movie called Independence Day is going to be one where we win, right? There's no way we're going to pay all that money to see us lose. So we know at the beginning of it that it's going to be this adventure, and what we're paying for, what we're exchanging for in the movie is that unknown mystery of how will we get there, right? How will we get to the place where we kill the aliens, the earth is saved, everyone's in love, all the people that need to survive, right? How do we get to that place where it all works out? And we trust that it's going to work out. Can you imagine if they made Independence Day as a movie and Earth was destroyed and the aliens won? I mean, there would be an uprising, right? Like, that's not what people want to pay for it. They want to pay for the adventure, knowing that the outcome is already good. It's already guaranteed. And I couldn't help but draw the parallel to humanity, to our lives, right? As humans, when we say we're coming as a soul to this planet named Earth, and we're going to have this human experience where we explore the depths and the agonies of emotion and the heights of joy and the physical of a body, right, of rain. It's raining here today, and it's just cleansing the earth. It's nourishing the flowers, right? There's such a physical, tangible experience to being a human. And so when we agree, when we have this soul communicating, committing to a human body for however long that life is going to be, we come for the adventure. We come for the mystery of not knowing how we're going to travel through it, but knowing at the end there's a certainty of something else, of something more. My belief is that something more is love, always. Right? Through every lifetime we come back into consciousness and love expands. Love creates more love. Expanded consciousness creates more expansion in all consciousness. But it's the mystery, it's the not knowing what the adventure is going to be about that draws us here, right? And so, as we gather on this Independence Day weekend, I've just felt this pull to history, to looking at the stories from our past and learning from the souls that have already lived before us, right? 200 years ago, 240 years ago, these people gathered and had families, experiences. They got up in the morning like we do, and they ate, and they communicated, and they created, and they built, and they shared. And then their lives were over, and their physical bodies died, but that love, that consciousness that they created, it still speaks to us today, and we expand upon it. So, of course, I don't know all the details. I had to Google and look at it again, but I woke up this morning thinking about the Boston Tea Party, and I knew that it connected to the American Revolutionary War. I knew it connected to the Declaration of Independence and 4th of July, but honestly, I don't remember all the details. So I got on Google, our expert, and I just started researching, the story. What was the story? And so I want to share this with you as a bridge for all of us, as a whisper of those souls that lived before still talking to us here today. So for those of you who already know the story, I apologize. I'll keep it brief. For those who don't, the symbolism is just stunningly beautiful. So way back, 1773, there was a lot of trade that was happening internationally, and people had discovered that they liked tea, right? Way before pop and beer, they liked tea. And so they wanted tea to be imported from India, and a lot of illegal importing started to happen because the British wanted to control and tax at higher and higher amounts what the American colonies were paying to ship the tea over to here. And so this rumbling, this rebellion started among the colonists where they said, it's not fair. How come we have to pay the taxes and other people aren't paying the taxes we do, and that isn't right, and what are we going to do about that? And so they asked for representation. Could they have a voice? Could they have a voice in Britain that says, we don't agree with this, we don't believe in this, let us have our say? And they were told no. And so time goes by, they get more upset, and soon they hear that these boats are going to be bringing a huge shipload of 4 boats were bringing a huge amount of tea over from Britain, and they were going to different places along the coastline. So, of course, as universe, as energy aligns, as vibrational matches start to occur, a couple of the ships couldn't land, and they had to go back. And there was one ship left that was coming to Boston, and the colonists knew, and so when it arrived, they put people on guard to not let the people on the boat unload the tea. 340 chests of tea and sitting on the boat. And the law at that time was you have 20 days to unload it. And so they sat and they watched and they wouldn't let anyone unload, and they started trying to make things happen using the political system, trying to make it work. And they kept getting told no. And the person from the British government who was regulating said, you're not going to send that boat back. It's going to stay here. It's going to get unloaded. But he was running out of time also. And a rebellion began, right? They reached the 20th day. 30 to 130 is what Google said. 30 to 130 people put on these masks, these Native American masks, to say, we align with America. This is our home now. These are our people now. And they put on these Mohawk costumes and masks, and they got onto the ship, and they dropped 340 chests of tea into the Boston Harbor. That's 90,000 pounds of tea, right? Just dropped over. It took them a while. And then the value of that, right? If you were to have that in today's value, it was almost $2 million worth of tea. What fascinates me about this story is it became tea tea was the thing that caused the uprising or the rebellion or the boiling over, right? It's such a small thing. They didn't fight over war, guns, people being beheaded. They fought over tea. And that's what started this American Revolution, right? But how appropriate that tea, which is a drink to soothe the throat chakra, was the vehicle through which Americans found their voice, right? It was over tea, a drink, something that I use every day to soothe my throat chakra, that I have the right and the privilege now to use because 240 years ago someone fought and threw tea overboard for us, right? The beauty of the symbolism of that is incredible. So all of that taxation without representation, not having a voice, not being allowed to speak and represent myself, right, created this community of people that rebelled, that said no, that put their foot down, that created a shift, right? And what it led to was more rules from the government, from Britain, that they called intolerable acts, even more no, you can't be or do that or say those things that you want to. And that is what led to the revolution. So I looked up the definition of rebellion versus revolution, and rebellion is, I'll read it to you, it's an open, organized, armed resistance to one's government or ruler. Whereas a revolution, it's an overthrow, a repudiation, the thorough replacement of an established government or political system by the people being governed. Right? To go from rebelling to revolting to revolutionizing. Yeah, so anything that came up as I shared that story, just run it down that pathway to your feet and out into the earth. So this story of the Boston Tea Party, it tugs at me, right? That in the middle of December in Boston, I mean, it must have been freezing cold. These people were willing to swim and boat out to the ship and then stand there in the cold and throw tea overboard, heavy pounds of tea overboard, and take this stand for themselves, for their children, for their children's children, for all who would follow, right, that would be able to live in this United States, right, these United States that are free. It's humbling. It's humbling to see the courage that a few individuals not backing down could create that ripples out so many years later. So what I have been feeling internally for myself is this, I'll use my words, right? What I feel inside of me is this heart space growing bigger and bigger and bigger, right? I feel more love than I've ever felt before, which amazes me because I've loved a lot in my life, and I feel more love growing constantly, right? More compassion for people and their stories of pain, right? Their stories of suffering. I feel more urging to move through the bullshit and to help people see truth, to help people see their own truth, their own knowing, their own voice, right? And then lovingly hold space and support them in using their voice, in asking for what they want to experience in this lifetime, for expanding love and rippling it out. So there's this internal revolution that I feel inside of me. It's an overthrowing of my old way, which is you can only love to this point and then you'll run out. So don't love too much, right? Don't help too much. Don't save people. Don't, all these stories I've had where I try to keep myself small because I'm afraid I'll run out. Right? And this internal revolution inside of me is saying, I can't run out of love. There's no way. Because more creates more creates more. So what I would love to guide you through, we have about 15 more minutes, I'd love to guide you through some quiet internal reflection for yourself. So I'll prompt you with a question and just give you 3 or 4 minutes to sit with it, to feel it in your body, and then we'll move to the next. There's 3 or 4 questions. And my encouragement to you is don't fight it or push or make something happen. Just settle in. Lean back in your chair on the floor. Feel your feet like holding you here on this earth. Feel the filter at the top of your crown with Source just going, I'll whisper in your ear, or I'll whisper through the filter and you can decide if you want to hear. And then just allow your body to vibrationally start to shift or settle, right? So you may have thoughts, you may not. You may fall asleep for the next 15 minutes, which is fine. You may be more alive than you've ever felt. Right, but just allow yourself to be here, and we'll just ask the questions and see what your individual experience is for you. Yeah, if it feels intense, also you can put your hand on your heart and just gently, just hold your heart. It's so much stronger and bigger than you've ever given it credit for. Okay, so the first question I would ask is, where are you as an individual giving up your power or your belief in your love or your ability to love? So where are you giving up your power or your love? We'll just take a few minutes. So just sit with that. I'll come back in when it's time. Okay, the next question. Go ahead and feel your feet. Stay in your body, so feel your feet connecting you to the earth. The next question is, how can you be a co-creator for more love in your own life? How can you be a co-creator for more love in your own life? And that might involve other people, it might not, so just feel that. And then how can you be a co-creator for more love in your community? That could be your school community, your family community, your work community, your neighborhood. How can you be a co-creator for more love in your community? And if energies are coming up that aren't yours, or if you're suddenly feeling heavy or dense, right? If something has really shifted from how you were feeling a few moments ago, pay attention. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to how you're holding it for other people. And allow it to just move through you. So feel it being magnetized to the center of that line, running all the way down to your hips, down into your legs, and out into the earth. Right? This is a great awareness for you that it's not your stuff, it's someone else's, and you're carrying it for them. Right? It doesn't serve them, and it doesn't serve you, and it does not serve your community. So you can receive it if you have to, if that's how you process, but then run it down and out through your feet and hand it over to the earth. Don't hold it. Don't let it stay stuck inside of you, because that doesn't serve all of us. All right, use your breath down and out your feet. Good. Because in order to expand to the next question, right, you're going to have to hold more. Your capacity is going to have to be bigger. And if you're holding for your community, there's no way you're going to be able to hold for the world. Right? And what's being called for by everyone on this planet right now is for all of us to step into more love so that this planet can heal, so that hate can dissolve and love can expand. And if you're holding energies for all the people that you meet in your communities, there's no way you're going to be able to expand to the world. So practice it. This is the perfect place to practice it. calibrate your body differently. So when you're walking around in your community, in your world, it's just energy. Comes into you, moves down to your feet, it's out, no big deal, right? Versus paralyzing you. So the next question is, how can you be a co-creator for more love in our world? We're expanding, right? How can you be a co-creator for more love in our world? I'll give you a couple minutes to feel into that. If stuff comes up, run it out your feet. Okay, you can come back to that one on your own anytime. All right, the last question, right? The last question is, where are you being pulled by your soul? And how do you align with your own internal revolution? And I say that knowing there must be something in you that pulled you to this call that has you aligning with an internal revolution, or you wouldn't be here. So what is your soul pulling you towards? Just trust. It could be one word, it could be an image, it could be a feeling, it could be a person. What is your soul pulling you towards? And then what action step, what thing can you do to align with that? Just take the first response that comes in your brain, right? It's your subconscious talking to you. Good. And then my encouragement to you is act on that, right? If that's what your soul is saying, and you're in this space, this cocoon that's letting you look at it, trust it and act on that this week. Do that thing, or call that person, or follow that instinct that just came up. If nothing came up, come back to the call again on your own time, right? It'll be there. When you're ready, it will be there. Okay, so go ahead and let's just clear our energies one more time. So open the bottoms of your feet. Anything that does not belong to you or that came up that's got any density or heaviness to it in your body, imagine your feet can open and earth right underneath your feet can start suctioning, right, from the bottoms of your feet through the roots and just pulling at anything that's ready to move. So, for example, I can tell like my right shoulder is a little tense from holding the phone, so I'm just going to imagine the earth can pull from my shoulder any stuck energy, right? There's something there that is feeling heavy, so I'm just going to pull it down to my feet and then hand that over to the earth. Good. So just sense anywhere in your body that's ready for energy to move, just send it down and out. Use your breath. And then imagine you can open up that filter at the top of your head, and in this moment, Source can fill you up. Your God, your Creator, one universal energy, can fill your system up from your head. So for me, I like to picture like a liquid gold with sparkly champagne bubbles coming in the top of my head and just bubbling down through my body, filling up every single cell with love and pleasure and delight and joy and happiness and bliss, right? All these beautiful energies just moving down through my body, all the way to my feet. And because there's such an abundance, I just open my feet up and I know there's more than enough to send into the earth, and I'm still filled up in me. Good. All right, and then my last reflection for you is the whisper from the ancestors of the Boston Tea Party. When there's a revolution happening, right? It's your voice that is being activated to speak your truth, to speak love. And I've been practicing that over the last few days in particular, really using my voice to say, here's my work, here's who I am, here's what I do, here's how I want to function with my clients and my business, claiming what my next steps are, right? The voice is the activator. It's the opening for the capacity. And so I encourage you to trust your voice more today, this week, this month, this year, than you ever have before, and allow it an outlet. So share, right? Share how you're feeling. Share what's happening in your internal revolution, even if it's with one person first, just to check out how crazy you feel or sound, right? That's how I do it. I'm like, oh my God, am I nuts? Tell me I'm not nuts. What's going on with me? Why am I saying these things? Why am I doing this? Right? And when you have reflected back to you, no, you're in your truth, right? I feel your heart. I feel your love. The voice gets stronger and more powerful, and more activation can move through you. So begin doing that. Share with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones, right? I've shared with my children more this week than I ever have, and it's felt incredible, and they've stepped up to help me more, right? And then share in community. If you're not already in the Soulshine Tribe, look it up on Facebook, add yourself, right? Bring your voice to the communities, and then become part of this movement that I'm sensing for more love. So bring your voice to your community, bring your voice to the world, right? Start sharing. And you're not alone in doing that. Our ancestors have done that, and our children in the future and their grandchildren will do that. So step fully in. Okay. So much love from my heart to yours. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone.